Welcome in to today's edition to the Born Podcast. We're doing well. Lots to get into today. Lots of stuff happening in world sports. Kind of digested the trade deadline in the NHL. I got some thoughts and teams that are kind of under the radar that I really like. I didn't get to talk about yesterday. Lots of NFL news still coming in. Quarterback Carousel news on the Baker Mayfield front. I'll get to that report in a second. We're going to talk some NBA today as well. Shamus will join us in about 15 minutes or so. And LeBron James is leading the NBA scoring, which is pretty incredible at his age. But there's also, I think the NBA, this has been a really, really great NBA season. And we're going to talk about Eastern Hall. That's just a logjam at the top. And today, one of the big, I was listening to this new podcast, and it's on the Ringer. It's called Icons Club. I recommend everybody listen to it. If you're not familiar with the Ringer, Bill Simmons is just one of my personal, heroes. He left ESPN, he started the Ringer, and well, he's got a lot of different podcasters. They write, they put out content. It's a really well-run platform. And Jackie McMullen, who's a former great writer for the Mothership, she did this podcast called Icons Club, and it's with, she got interviews with Will Chamberlain, Jordan did an interview for the podcast, Dr. J, and it's basically about all the icons in the National Basketball Association. And it made me think of who are some of the best teammates in history of sports. And me and Shamus are going to talk about that. I kind of asked him to put together a list of 5. I got mine. But do you have some of the listeners, leave us in the comments. Who are the greatest teammates in sports history? You think about it, let us know. Who do you think are some of the best teammates in sports history? Let us know. Leave it in the comments. We'll get to that topic later in the show. But I actually want to start today by talking about golf. And golf has been, golf is, it's a secondary sport, if you will. I doubt anybody would say, most people say, well, golf isn't my favorite sport, or I'll watch it in the background, or it's boring, but to me, it's fascinating. It's a sport I've grown to love over the last 2 to 3 years. And really, it's been a great start to the season. A lot of entertaining golf, and really, you've seen Cam Smith win twice on tour, Sam Burns win twice this season already. But the PGA Tour has been under this spell, under a little bit of a negative spin, if you will, with Phil Mickelson and his affiliation with the Saudi Golf League. And if you're not familiar with this, so there's the Saudi Golf League that's trying to start up in Saudi Arabia, that it was based out of Saudi Arabia, but they're playing in the States, but it's basically attempting to rival the PGA Tour. And for a little while, it looked like players were considering it. This league was talking about giving big purses. A lot of money was on the line. But as we went through it, there was some really, it was a shady league, because Saudi Arabia is not really regarded for its human rights, for how it treats individuals, how multiple journalists have been killed in Saudi Arabia. So, regarding that to the PGA Tour, players have decided not to go. John Ron came out, Colin Morikawa, Roy McIlroy basically said anything about the Saudi Golf League. But then there was Phil Mickelson, who was so supportive. He was, I would say, tone deaf on what Saudi Arabia is all about. He didn't grasp the big concept that this country, we're killing innocent people. This country was not good, and he continued to promote it. He continued to say the PGA Tour is stealing from us. Although Phil Mickelson has made close to $500 million in his career when it comes to his earnings on the golf course and sponsorship. So the PGA Tour, he shouldn't be the one complaining. believe me, when rich people are complaining about the pay of the people that make less than them, they're not complaining about the people making less, because the people making a lot want to make more. That's just what rich people do. I don't know that. But through all of this, Phil Mickelson didn't get it. It was at the point where nobody was going. He was back into a quarter. He was still supporting this golf league that was really second tier, third tier, if you will. And eventually, he had to come up and apologize. He had to say that his comments are out of whack, and he had to apologize to the PGA Tour and the president for speaking ill of the PGA Tour, saying they stole from people, and basically admit that he was wrong for supporting a country that is terrible in history when it comes to human rights and how they treat people. And through all of this, Phil Mickelson lost sponsorships. Callaway. He was the face of Callaway for 20 plus years. KPMG ended their relationship with Phil Mickelson after 22 years of doing business together. And I believe he lost over 20 sponsors over the last 3 months. And we haven't seen Phil on tour in a very long time. He didn't play with the players. He's not playing in the match play. And this crescendoed. This whole thought became even bigger yesterday when it was announced that although Phil Mickelson is a 3-time Augusta National, the Masters champion, he will not be competing at the 2022 Masters in 2 weeks. It was really a stunning revelation. It was something that I heard Phil Sands of the Golf Channel on NBC speculate upon an overdrive a few weeks ago. And it turns out Sandy was correct. And he tried to Phil on the show. And reached out to him. I'd like to have him on the show before Augusta at the very least. We'll see if that happens, but that's just something I'm trying to work on. And now, a 3-time champion, one of the greatest golfers in the history of the sport, is not competing at Augusta National. And, it was really unclear whose doing this was, and I'm going to be very upfront. Phil Mickelson would be playing at Augusta National if he could. I believe the people at Augusta went to Phil and said, come back next year. Set this low, maybe come back between... What'll be interesting is if Phil competes at the PGA Championship. He won that tournament last year. That is in May. Again, it's the champ. The defending champion was not allowed to play. I don't think it's a guarantee. But it's an unknown. Phil Mickelson is so much on the outs that you don't know where this is going. To still play on tour again. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he does not. And people might say, well, this is a bit of an overreaction. Okay. But at the same time, you are responsible for your actions. If Phil Mickelson didn't know what Saudi Arabia was all about before he got into bed with him, shame on him. You don't get to cry wolf. You don't get to cry innocent. You don't get to cry period. And say, I was the victim here when you don't do the research. If you take a position on something and you don't know the background, if you're just jumping on and you see this lately, or people jump on social media and say, well, I support this day, or I hate what's happening in Ukraine, even though they probably don't even know what the hell's going on, because they haven't read a news article in 3 years. Or if you say something supportive of something else without knowing it, that's on you. Because what comes out of your mouth is on you. Do I say some crazy things on here? Yes, I don't know. If I say something wrong, I have to apologize. It's like making... I'm not a hot take guy. But when I make a take and I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I look at the trade deadline. I think I know who won. I think I know who did well. Will I be wrong? I might be. Then I'll have to, eat crow. But for Phil Mickelson, his apology was so half-hearted. It was so clearly it wasn't sincere. It's one thing to get somebody to accept you, to get you back into the fold when you give an apology that you truly believe. He didn't. It was a half-ass apology. It was, okay, I'm forced to do this because I'm back into a corner. It's admitting guilt without admitting guilt, because you just say, well, I didn't know. Starting an apology with, well, you said something, it's not an apology. And that's the wrong way to go about it. I do think this is a huge moment in the history of golf where Phil is not going to be playing at the Masters. Now, whether he's going to win or not, make the cut, it doesn't matter. It's Augusta National saying, hey, 3-time champion, you're not coming. Please don't show up. And not only that, but don't come to our winners dinner that's on Tuesday night every year. Don't show up. Just don't come this year. It's a big moment. And I do think the history of Augusta comes into this. That golf course is not known for being great people. It's based out of Georgia. It's, for a long time, you had to be a white male to play there. You were a female, you couldn't play. You were black, you couldn't play there. You had to be white male. And I just think there's so much dirt with Phil Mickelson. There's so much negative. You don't want that. I know people are going to be upset because Tiger's not going to be playing. But if Tiger shows up and he's on the course, that's the story you want to write. Even if he's not playing, if he's there for the winner's dinner, that's a positive spin. People could say, well, maybe he'll be at St. Andrews in a couple months. Maybe we'll see him there in July. That's something you can look forward to. Him being on the course, it's negative. It's taking away from the best. It's, well, could Justin Thomas finally win a Masters? Or does Rory finish off the complete? Like, I just think you want positive. It's a lot of people's favorite tournament. And I think Phil would have created a negative aspect, brought negative energy into this. And I just think what'll be interesting is the first event he shows up. It's two things are true. I don't blame Augusta for doing this. I get them. They don't want to be the gatekeeper, if you will, to allow Phil back onto the PGA Tour. But somebody also has to be the first tournament to say, you know what? Phil, you screwed up, but come play here at the 3M Open in Minnesota. Or come play the Rocket Mortgage here in Detroit. Because it's going to happen. Again, would it shock me if he doesn't play the PGA Tour again? It wouldn't. Because quite frankly, he's 51. He had a crazy where he won the PGA Tour, won the PGA Championship last. That was a great story. But really what Phil is playing for now is he's playing for the US Open. It's the only major he's never won. He doesn't have to play any more events. People aren't watching, golf fans aren't tuning in to watch Phil Mickelson. He's not a draw anymore. He's an old guy, you turn in most days, he's 80 over par, and like he's missing the cut again. That's more often than not what you make from Phil Mickelson. You tune in because you want to see Morikawa in his short game, or Scottie Scheffler's putting, or even Bryson on the tee, hitting his driver. And Bryson will be back this weekend at the match play. That's what you're tuning. That's what you watch golf for. Not, okay, I want to see how Phil's doing. Tiger's different because he has such an aura. But Phil doesn't have that same regard because he's Tiger's enemy. Phil wasn't that light of a figure before. I think he's doing a lot to improve it. He's great on social media. I think he's a guy that a lot of people are starting to like because Tiger was gone. He had his drug issues and he got in an accident, and it's always something with Tiger Woods. but I think it's a big deal, the PGA Tour. And I'm looking forward to now, when does he come back, what tournament is it, and ultimately, the Masters starts April 7th. So that'll be 2 weeks on Thursday. Does Phil Mickelson compete at the PGA Championship? As a defending champion, I have a hard time believing he does because the Masters is completely separate from the PGA Tour. It's a major. The PGA Championship, again, it's the PGA Tour, the PGA Championship. I don't know if they're going to want Phil there after all the bad stuff he said about the PGA Tour, defending champion or not. I think they get a lot of satisfaction out of Phil not being here. So that's my next big intrigue. Does he come back between Augusta and the PGA Championship, and ultimately, is he playing at that tournament? And what's his reception like? I still think he'll be universally well liked, because I don't think golf fans are particularly, up to date. But it's also public perception and how you present yourself. So we'll see how that goes. But that was a big story to me, and I want to take off that today, because not playing at a tournament he's won 3 different times is a major deal. Pivoting to the NFL. This offseason, I thought we'd seen it all. You see, Russell Wilson get moved. Tom Brady comes back. Russell Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. Aaron Rodgers stays put, but signs an extension. And it's quarterback movement, and it's just a never-ending cycle. But then you kind of look around and say, well, Deshaun Watson went from Houston to Cleveland. That leaves Baker Mayfield. The Atlanta Falcons were trying to acquire Deshaun Watson. They ultimately didn't get him. They still have Matt Ryan, who Matt Ryan knows they were trying to acquire a different quarterback. News on unrest there. And Baker Mayfield has formally requested a trade. So, the Indianapolis Colts, the part with Carson Wentz, they trade him to the Washington Commanders, still a lot to say, or the Commies, if you will. And so he's gone. So the Colts are sitting there with a really good roster in a weak division. Tennessee Titans, a good team, playoff team in the last number of years. Other than that, you have a Houston team that's down to the studs, and you got a Jacksonville team that is rebuilding, still trying to get past the Urban Meyer era, and hoping that they can rebound in short order. But the Colts had Darius Leonard, Michael Pittman Jr. They had a roster loaded with talent, and they were just devoid of a quarterback. And what do? The Colts go out there and say, what Matt Ryan's saying. The Falcons want to move on from him. He's been there 14 seasons. He got to a Super Bowl, he won an MVP. But he's 36, turning 37, and he's better than what we have right now, which would be Sam Ellinger. So what do? They trade a 3rd round pick to the Falcons for Matt Ryan. And I like this move from the Colts. I think this is smart. I don't think, the AFC is so loaded, and we can go through them all. You got Russ and Sean and Patrick and Justin Herbert and Derek Carr and Russell Wilson. It's a loaded conference. Lamar. I'm just going to the next. Josh Allen. Tannehill is a bad quarterback. I mean, these are the names in this conference that you have to deal with. And I just named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 9 quarterbacks. Those are all in the AFC. So, with Matty Ice going to Indy, I don't think this makes them a Super Bowl favorite. But, however, I do think the Colts have. I do think Matt Ryan is better than Carson Wentz. I believe Matt Ryan gives the Colts a better chance of winning a Super Bowl than Carson Wentz does. And he's a guy that's been to a Super Bowl. He's got experience. And I don't think Atlanta has really been doing him a disservice the last number of years. The Colts have to hope that they get some Matthew Stafford type pixie dust and he really catches fire. Because Julio was gone last year. Calvin Ridley was suspended the whole year. He had Russell Gage, but he was injured as well. He had a stripped down roster in Atlanta, and he still gave him a decent season. But now, he's got one of the best running backs in football. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Jack Doyle, Mo Alley Cox, T.Y. Hilton, Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, and I think the Colts are right there at Tennessee when it comes to winning the AFC South. And winning the AFC South gets you into the playoffs. And that's all the Colts can ask for. They missed the playoffs last year with Carson Wentz. They couldn't bring him back. It was clear that they couldn't do it. But you look at Frank Reich, he's had 4 different quarterbacks. Andrew Luck, Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and now Matt Ryan. So the 4 different starting quarterbacks. This is Frank Reich's 4th season as head coach, 4 different quarterbacks. So Matt Ryan's got to learn a new system. He's got to come in, get some chemistry. But I do think he can do it. I think he's a smart quarterback. And he's been in these big situations. He played in a dome in Atlanta. He's going to a dome in Indianapolis. He'll be playing in a dome in Houston. So he's still got, it's still warmer weather. So I think that's a good transition for him. And like I said, the Colts are a much better roster than the Atlanta Falcons. And it's easy to say, well, the Colts should have just signed a backup quarterback if he will tank and start over. But their roster is too good to do that. Their offensive line is too good. Quentin Nelson is in the Hall of Fame. They have him. Ryan Kelly is a perennial Pro Bowler. Teams would kill for their offensive line. And I just think it's impossible to say to the ownership, okay, we have such an important piece of the team, and we got a great running back. We're going to tank this year, hope to get a quarterback in the draft. Well, they got Matt Ryan now. There's no quarterback in this draft that's going to change life. Malik Willis out of Liberty has been rising up draft boards. So Dan Orlovsky, who I trust when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks, said that he believes Willis should be a top 10 draft pick. He says a lot he should be a top 10 pick. He's got a big arm. He's really athletic. Maybe he will be. But I do think he's really raw. And he didn't play against great competition at Liberty. So we'll see what he can do. Kenny Pickett has his problems. He fumbles a lot. Played at Pitt. So he's used to the outdoors. But there isn't the guy that jumps out to you. I don't know if we'll see a rookie start week 1 next season. I really don't. It might depend on the situation. But Colts get Matt Ryan. They pay his $5.6 million roster bonus yesterday. But that doesn't matter. They'll pay that money. That's nothing for Jim Murray. He gets a quarterback that they can at least sell the fan base. We can compete for our division. We're better than Houston. We're better than Jacksonville. We had 2 chances to win our division or to make the playoffs last year. Could have beat the Raiders in week 16. No, we failed. Could have beat the Jags in week 17. We failed. So now they need to step up. Now they need a guy that is better than Wentz, is better than Philip Rivers, Rivers to get them to the postseason. And look at Matt Ryan as a guy that can do that. As I look at Matt Ryan and Baker Mayfield, I think I prefer Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is not coming off shoulder surgery, so how Baker's going to react to that. I think Matt Ryan is a more mature quarterback. He is a guy that, again, I think his teammates are going to respect. He's a veteran. He does it the right way. So I like that about Matty Ice. Baker, I don't think Baker's as childish as people make him seem. I hated that comment from Jimmy Haslam, the football ops in Cleveland, said they wanted an adult at quarterback, which I think is pretty laughable considering Deshaun Watson still has 22 civil suits pending. That's just really bad optics. But against the Cleveland Browns, so I do expect. But I think Matt Ryan still has some game. I'm not saying term, he's under contract for another couple seasons. And you shoot your shot. And I'd rather go down with the ship with Matt Ryan than it would Baker Mayfield. But regarding Baker, so you got the Sean move. Brady comes back. Matt Ryan gets reset. It leaves basically one quarterback left to decide. And that would be Baker Mayfield Jr. the third. And so much thing is there's so little teams available. You thought, well, you want to go to the Colts. Well, they decided, hey, we want Matt Ryan instead of Baker Mayfield. You're like, well, maybe you could go to New Orleans. They re-signed Jameis Winston yesterday, 2 years, $28 million, $21 million guaranteed. So they're clearly waiting on Deshaun Watson. He made his decision, and Jameis was sitting there ready, coming up ACL surgery, should be ready for training camp. So, and I like that move for New Orleans. They know what he is, and Sean Payton's gone. But Jameis and his limited play last year looked competitive. That division is so weak that the Saints have such a good defense that can keep them in a lot of games, especially against the quarterback play as of right now, Sam Darnold. I'll get to the Atlanta situation in a second. But Winston is the second best quarterback in the division behind Tom Brady. And, Tampa's kind of in flux. They lost some alignment. They're hoping they got Leonard Fournette back today. He's re-signed 3 years with $7 million a year after visiting with the Patriots yesterday. But he's back. Tampa's got a lot of the same guys back. Brady, of course. But Russell Gage, which is a good pickup. I like that wide receiver signing for the Buccaneers. But New Orleans, even with that and Sean Payton gone, I do think they're still the second best team in that division. And we'll see what Jameis can do. If he can stay healthy for a full season, I think New Orleans could push for a playoff spot. You think Baker might go to the Atlanta Falcons? They just traded Matt Ryan? No. Atlanta's in so much tank mode, it's not even funny. I'll say I'm not a hot take guy, but I might have one right now. If you're a Detroit Lions fan or Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I wouldn't bank on getting the first pick in the draft next year, because I think it's going to be Atlanta. I believe Atlanta will finish dead last in the NFL next season. We still got a long ways to go before next season starts. But I look at this roster. As it currently stands, they don't have a wide receiver on their team that has caught an NFL pass. They have Kyle Pitts at tight end, who I feel bad for, who they drafted fourth overall last year. But that's all they have. They decided to leave Russell Gage left. Julio's gone. Calvin Ridley suspended for the year. It's a nightmare in Atlanta. Prior to their signing of Marcus Mariota, they had Felipe Franks, who's a German quarterback who was originally at Florida State and transferred to Mizzou. He's not an NFL quarterback. And Josh Rosen, who originally went 9th overall Arizona. They traded him after 1 year with the Dolphins. They cut him. He was on the Tampa Bay practice squad. He was on San Francisco practice squad. And he's basically a German at this point. But Atlanta decided to sign Marcus Mariota to a 2-year contract. And he leaves after a number of years in Vegas, where he was the backup quarterback who ran some scout team. He had some running plays. He's second overall pick in the draft behind Jameis Winston. So both these guys are going to be in the same division, which is funny enough. But Atlanta is going to be they're clearly committed to it. They have $40 million dead cap hit this season. And that's Matt Ryan's contract. So they have to eat that. They have to eat a lot of money, but they're shedding. Like they got to eat that, but they're saying we're going to be bad. We got hope. I think this next quarterback class looks to be better. CJ Stroud out of Ohio State. I'll have to watch him play next season, but he looked really good this season. Definitely, especially down the stretch. Bryce Young, obviously the Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama, will be in the draft, so I think there'll be some quarterbacks that play with Atlanta with Mariota. He'll likely start this whole season. They have him for 2 years, so he could be the backup again when a rookie comes in. So this is a long-term play for Atlanta. This is definitely a Jacksonville approach where you wait for a quarterback to be there, and maybe they take Malik Willis. Maybe they take a quarterback this year. I don't think just a guy that is necessarily a home run, and it wouldn't shock me to see him go into this season with Mariota as the starter, who you know is going to play hard, but he likely won't win many games. He's like a Tyrod Taylor. And then you got Rosen and Felipe Franks who can back up. Anyway, again, maybe they do take it for the quarterback fall. Also, they have Cleveland's pick in the first round. They have their own pick. So, and also they got a third rounder with Ryan Newt as a quarterback available. I know Carson Strong. UNLV is getting a lot of attention. Maybe they take him if he falls in the draft. I think there'll be quarterbacks in the later rounds. The last quarterback taken last year's draft was the third round. That was Davis Mills. So he will likely get a starter for Houston Texans. I think there'll be more quarterbacks falling this year. So I think it'll be a different draft that way. But yeah, Atlanta should be careful. So Baker is not going to do it with the Falcons. So now, well, how about Carolina? And that's the news that I want to bring to your guys' attention today. This is for David Newton, reporter for the Mothership. The Carolina Panthers have no interest in Baker Mayfield. Quote, we don't want him. The Carolina Panthers, who have Sam Darnold and P.J. Walker Jr. the third at quarterback, they don't want Baker Mayfield. And maybe this is smoke screen, but there's no reason why. There's no bidding war for Baker Mayfield. And now I'm a fuddle. Because where does he go? Carolina does not want him. So clearly Carolina wants to be like Atlanta and stink this season. Because they look at maybe with Darnold, with Walker, that's what a quarterback is. They should trade Christian McCaffrey. Because they're not going to have a good enough team. They're going to be bad. They should trade McCaffrey to a contender, see what happens. But now I look, well, where's Baker go? There's one team that stands out, and I have another team that I think could be sneaky. I don't know if they even have interest, because they have two quarterbacks on the contract. Seattle is an easy one, because they traded Russell Wilson. They have Drew Lock and Geno Smith under contract. Pitching Drew Lock as your starting quarterback of the future is not an easy sell. It's a hard sell. The greatest salesman, Tom Callahan couldn't sell it. You can't go to your fan base and say, hey guys, we're doing this presser. We got Drew Lock week one. Nobody's excited for that. You watch him in Denver, you know this guy's not a great quarterback. He's a mistake waiting to happen. Nothing exciting about Drew Lock. Geno Smith, same thing. He's a perennial backup, good guy in the locker room, but he's nothing special. So Baker Mayfield would be an upgrade over both of these guys. But then there's also, well, even if say Seattle traded for Baker Mayfield, I still think they finished last in the NFC West. I don't think with Baker Mayfield they're finishing higher than the Los Angeles Rams. That's not a top choice for me. I don't think they're finishing ahead of the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's got their problems, but Kyler is better than Baker. They got a better roster. And since Seattle's got a lot of fun there. And San Francisco, Trey Lance has got one start, but I love the roster around him. So if he can use that athleticism, if he can use his legs with his arm, I think San Francisco can do some damage this year. And they also, San Francisco still has Jimmy G under contract. I'm keeping him. That's a smart play from the beginning. Because I'd rather have, you don't know how he's going to play. If there's a speed bump, you know Jimmy Garoppolo can play in San Francisco. I think he wants to move on, but I think you gotta look around and say, who's gonna take me? Where's my landing spot? For guys like Baker and like Jimmy Garoppolo, if you're traded at this point, you're likely a bad. Teams like Atlanta, Carolina, I could possibly take a look at Jimmy Garoppolo. He's got 1 year left on his deal, but I think these teams are committed to being bad. Houston is going with Davis Mills. Jacksonville has the quarterback. I could go to Pittsburgh, sign Trubisky. Lamar is in Baltimore. Deshaun. You got Josh Allen, Matt Jones. The Jets have Zach Wilson. There's Tua Tagovailoa. You go through the whole league. There's not many openings left. But my one, if Baker doesn't go to Seattle, it's like I said, you might as well start Drew Lock. You're going to finish and not give up draft capital. I don't think it'd be much at this point. If you know you're going to finish last regardless. But my one team that I could see him going to, and it's the New York Giants. And the reason I say the New York Giants, and I thought about the Eagles at first, but I do think they want to give Jalen Hurts a run. And they got 3 picks in this first round. I think they're going to be creative. They couldn't obviously lure the on there. But I would give Jalen Hurts another season. You have all those picks this year. Maybe you can move them around to get some talent and potentially set yourself up well for next season when it comes to the draft. Get a quarterback. But I think Jalen Hurts is a competent quarterback. I think in a weak NFC, I think Seattle, I think Philadelphia can make the playoffs for sure. Carson Wentz, I don't trust. He failed last year in Indy. The Cowboys, I think, are the best team in that division. But again, the Cowboys, you never know what you're going to get from the Dak Prescott is not consistent enough for my liking. So then we get to the Giants. The Giants are interesting to me because they just got Brian Daboll, the new head coach, who was in Buffalo. And yes, he has Daniel Jones there, who they took 6th overall a number of years ago. But Daboll has no connection to Daniel Jones. He didn't draft him. He wasn't there. So he's another guy. Baker is a... No, if none of these teams want Baker, it kind of tells me something about what people think of him. And clearly, it isn't good. But I think the Giants... I think Baker's better than Daniel Jones. I do. Not saying a whole lot because Daniel Jones has a lot of limitations, and I don't think he's a great quarterback, but I think Baker is better than him. I think Baker is better than Drew Lock. Well, what I gotta figure out is what's the makeup of the team? What are they thinking? And for teams that don't really want to get him because they think, well, we might be better with Baker, I get that. You might as well be the worst team in the league. If you're going to be as bad as you possibly can be. Atlanta, they're committed to that. They're going to be pathetic. Also, if they play a Thursday night game, I'll still watch it. But they're going to be a pathetic excuse for a team. But I'm Seattle. Why would I give up draft capital to get a quarterback that's only going to make me marginally better? He's a lot better than Drew Lock, but I'm not making the playoffs. In that, those 3 teams might all make the playoffs. I think there's a good chance of that happening. Seattle won't. They'll finish last in that division. So, again, for Baker, I think he's in a really tough spot. Does he end up having a backup job? Maybe Seattle acquires him, but they go into training camp and it's like, well, Baker, it's going to be a battle for the starting role. And that would be a kill to his ego. Don't get me wrong. I think he'd have a really hard time stomaching that. I think he's a proud guy if he thinks he's really great, which you need that. But I just think he needs a good situation. I don't know if there's one out there for him. Carolina doesn't want him. Atlanta doesn't want him. Well, Seattle, take a chance. But Detroit's got Jared Goff. They're not going to go trade for him. I'll say this. Minnesota's not going to be able to find a partner for Kirk Cousins. I prefer to have Baker Mayfield than Kirk Cousins. I think Baker's better than Kirk Cousins. But who's taking Kirk Cousins' contract? No one. So Minnesota's not going to make that. There's very few teams that are going to be willing to make that move. there's just so few where you look and say, well, he could fit there. They need a fourth. That seems it's coming down here, where it's just every team has their player. Giants, again, I don't see the Eagles doing it. I think the Eagles want to give Jalen Hurts a chance. They got their picks this year. Draft some good players. Keep your good core there. We got Devontae Smith and Jalen Rager and those guys. But again, Detroit's got Jared Goff. They're banking on the future. Justin Fields is in Chicago. Minnesota has Kirk Cousins. Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers. We went to the division. Buffalo, the Jets got one. Cincinnati, Deshaun. Pittsburgh, Trubisky. Cleveland, they still have him. Maybe he has to sit there. Baltimore. Tennessee, they got Tannehill. Indy has Matt Ryan. Houston, Davis Mills. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence. Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. Vegas, Derek Carr. Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert. Denver, Russell Wilson. There's no landing spot. If Seattle or a team like New York comes out and says, you know what, we'll take him. Because, say you want to get rid of Kirk Cousins, well, Cleveland's not taking him. They got Deshaun under contract, a ton of guaranteed money, and they just signed Jacoby Brissett to be his backup. So Baker's going to have to go somewhere. They might come down to the team that says to Cleveland, yeah, we'll take him, but we're giving you like a nothing pick for him. And maybe if the return is so low, because they have to get rid of him for financial reasons, Seattle can get him for nothing. They went 7-10 last season, where Russell Wilson missed 5 games. But I look, it's a very tough division. Baker would go in there. Drew Lock would be present. But you got DK Metcalf, you got Tyler Lockett, you got good receivers in the defense. Bobby Wagner's gone. They re-signed Quandre Diggs, but it's not the same defense. So you could have traded and you're the fourth best team, even if you acquire Baker Mayfield, the quarterback. It's clear right now you got Drew Lock. It doesn't change that opinion for me. And I've only seen Trey Lance play one game. Maybe he'll be terrible, but that's why I keep Jimmy G. Because Jimmy G really doesn't hurt you that much. He doesn't make a crazy amount of money. When it comes to this NFL with the cap hits the way they are, he's making a decent salary. But you know if there's an injury, which Trey Lance had last year in this one start. So if there's an injury, if something goes awry, you have a quarterback that knows your system, that the teammates like, they enjoy him, they respect him. That's not going to be an issue. I think Trey Lance has a lot of respect for Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to come in, do the job. I'd rather have the quarterback, the backup quarterback that can play. He's got 1 year left in his deal. Will he want to be a backup? Probably not, but he'd be a backup elsewhere. And you can tell him, you're going to stay in our system. If there's an injury, you get to throw balls to George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. I'd rather be doing that than have a backup job in Carolina. You have to come in and throw to nobody. So it's Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. They don't have bad receivers. But maybe that's where Jimmy G gets traded. I think I'd rather have Jimmy G than Baker Mayfield, as crazy as it sounds. Porn star Jimmy, we said on the show here. But maybe that's where he goes, because they're 5-12, they got their problems, but Jimmy, I think, would keep them competitive in that division. Atlanta's a write-off, New Orleans, Carolina could compete with them. Brian Burns, a good player in that defense, they got some decent receivers. So, maybe, I mean, there's still going to be some movement, but I find it really fascinating how we go through all this and a team like Carolina comes out today and says, no, we're good. Like, they take one look at Baker Mayfield and they say, no, like, we're okay. And then you have a guy like Deshaun Watson, who is clear of criminal charges. That doesn't mean he's innocent. He still has all these red flags. Cleveland doesn't even ask to talk to the lawyer representing the 22 women that are alleging his sexual misconduct, all these allegations. They don't even have to talk to the lawyer, which we think would make sense. They don't do that, and Deshaun is so valued. You have Baker, who he's got his problems. I think he's pretty much a model citizen. I think he definitely needs to grow up a little bit. But again, the NFL is crazy. The NFL is a crazy, crazy game, and it changes you either. Quarterbacks move, teams move. Like Cincinnati was a team nobody saw get into the Super Bowl, but you get put on the map when you have success. So what happens? They have a ton of money. They get 3 offensive linemen in free agency. 3 guys to protect the biggest asset that franchise has had since Kenny Anderson, and that would be Joe Burrow. They signed Alex Campbell. They got Lyle Collins to play left tackle. This team says we lost the Super Bowl because we couldn't protect our quarterback. They're going to prove that, you know what, we can. We're going to do it. So kudos to Cincinnati. But again, we're going to continue to cover this, but Baker Mayfield, again, news of the day. Carolina, per David Newton of the Mothership, says Carolina does not want Baker Mayfield, and quote, we have no interest in him. We don't want him. Tough pill to swallow for Baker Mayfield, but again, I don't know where he ends up, but it'll be fascinating to watch nonetheless down the stretch here. Shamus Homer should be joining me in the next 10 minutes, so we're going to get into a lot of different things and hockey talk from yesterday. But before he joins, I want to get back to the trade deadline yesterday. Kind of, I really reflected last night. I thought I was watching Minnesota Vegas last night, and it was a good game, physical, fair. And I'm like, well, obviously, Florida had a good day, Tampa Bay had a good day, but I looked at 2 teams that I really focused on. I love the trade deadline for the Minnesota Wild and the New York Rangers. And I think both teams made moves to put them in a position to compete for a title without selling everything, so that they're in a position to compete again next season. So, for Minnesota, they noticed we got solid goaltending and Cam Talbot and Capital Cabinet. But you know what, today, we could get better. Marc-Andre Fleury sitting out there, Bill Guerin, and do some sweet talking. He knows Marc, he knows Flower. They won a Stanley Cup together. They have a relationship. He said, you can trust me coming down here for the rest of the season. It's going to be fine. So he pulled it off for a conditional first. It will only be a second rounder. They don't make the conference line. So, good move. Also, they had too many goals. So they flipped Kapanen to San Jose. I like that move for San Jose. So they take goalie, take a flyer. But in that trade, they did Jacob Middleton, who's not a flashy defenseman, but he has depth to that back end. You got Brody, you got Spurgeon, you got Matt Dumba. They got a physical team, and Minnesota, I think, added to that. Fleury's a tough grinder. Middleton's a tough physical defenseman. They got Nick Delorier for basically nothing from the Anaheim Ducks. He scored a goal last night. But the one thing you can look at Mini, they have a combination of physical play and a lot of skill. They're pretty soft. Even Zuccarello still has a lot left when it comes to skill. They just have this element about them. Tyson Yost, they got at the deadline as well. I thought he played pretty well last night. He's going to be a bottom 6 role, but it gives him a fresh opportunity leaving Colorado. But I see I post in the coming up on the screen here. Looking dapper, we'll add.
Hey, can you hear me?
No.
No?
I can't.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. 1 second.
Might be my system again. It seems to happen every, it happened yesterday before.
Can you hear me now?
Right?
Hello?
talking about the Minnesota Wild. One section, and they'll leave the podcast and come right back. So, I'm gonna do this.
Oh, jeez. Private show on here. Having some difficulties with hearing Jug there for a second, but I'm sure he'll be right back. Do I got you now? Okay, one second. We'll get this figured out. Hello. Can you hear me now? Hello.
I'm back. We're gonna wait for Shay. I restarted up the system here, but sorry for the delay. I don't know what's going on with that.
What's up, brother?
No.
1 second.
Restarted mine. This one usually works.
Can you hear me now? Do I get you now? Hello?
It's funny. Worked yesterday with those two guys, and they do nothing different, and it doesn't work for certain people. It's a weird situation here, everybody. But I see Shay's rocking his Mayfield jersey in the background there.
Hello?
But I'll see what I can do here.
Hear me now? Hello?
We got you? I got you.
Okay, you can hear me now?
I can hear
Sorry,
you now.
everybody. That was a great sequence of
Yeah, I don't know, because it's
settings.
like I do nothing different, and then it worked perfect with Ryder and
Lone Sky?
Cole yesterday, and then
yeah.
for Brad it wouldn't connect, so it's just strange. I don't know.
Yeah, I had to go with the Jerry Maguire to make this work, but I'm all about adaptation, so I'm happy we can get going.
How was the day in Sussex?
Old Sussex, it's not a bad drive. Not much to do. I tried this nice little sub spot out today, which was interesting, but other than that, just get my work done and get the fuck out of there.
Do you have to go back tomorrow?
No, I got some stuff to do in the city tomorrow, so I'm staying local, but I'll probably be back there later this week, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's never a bad place to be in Sussex.
If it was
cows and the birds.
Yeah, if it was maybe 25 plus and I was on the golf course, I'd have a different opinion on it. But yeah, when you're sitting in a 2x4 office, it's never that exciting. So how are things with you? I see you're rocking a little bit of a mustache going on. Is that for the madness, or is that just because you forgot to shave?
Well, it might be for my madness, but it's I was shaving the other night, and I just said, let's keep her for now.
Okay.
Tally's in the playoffs this weekend, so I'll say it's for her.
Yeah, good luck. I saw they won a couple weekends ago or last weekend, so congratulations to her, and hopefully they can keep pulling it off.
Yeah. They've got their first game Thursday on the island, so that should be a lot of fun. Trade deadline yesterday. Before I ask you about that, I see you got your Mayfield jersey in the background. It's
Mhm.
definitely a good product placement there. Is that there before you give it to Goodwill, or what's that doing in the background?
Brother, no, it's here to stay. I just thought I'd put it up there, say a few words for my boy Maker, who got rinsed. Let's be honest, after telling him that he was going to stay and he's going to give him one more year, and pigeon tossed him as soon as Deshaun Watson comes rolling into town. So, no, it's tough, but I hopefully he bounces back on a good team. Team I would love to see him go for if they were willing to give up the porn star would be San Francisco. They're already a great team, so they don't really need to add a whole lot to them. So yeah, we'll see. But no, not going to Goodwill. I just thought I'd do the honor of keep him in the background for one last show.
Right. Yeah. No. That's nice. I do feel for him.
Yeah, it's a tough situation overall. Like,
I just don't know who's gonna. I talked about this at the beginning of the show. I don't know who's gonna want him because there's not that many. There's not that many landing spots for him.
yeah,
You might have to be a backup next season, as bad as that sounds.
yeah. I don't know. With the Colts, who do they got?
They traded for Matt Ryan yesterday.
Oh, geez, look at me. Yeah, I don't know. There's literally maybe nobody that would want him. Houston, maybe. I don't know who they have. If they got anybody. It'd be a nice little swap.
Another trade with Houston. Well, they don't want him because Cleveland offered him in the deal and they said no, pass.
That's always bad when one of the worst teams in the league go, nah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited, looking forward to the future. I think it's gonna be a really good season. I know me and you and Casey talked about it a lot, but yeah, can't wait to see it's gonna be all for nothing or if it's gonna come together this year for a bunch of really talented players.
Yeah, well, good for Deshaun. I've never seen a guy who's still not really clear of everything get more money than he had before, and he might get suspended for half the season. So kudos to his agent because that guy, I want to hire him. But trade deadline yesterday. Your Leafs kind of made their moves on Sunday, but overall, before we get to the Leafs, who do you think had a good day?
Oh, I mean, overall, the day, I guess I could say, I have someone overall, I guess, for trades, but I'll say I like New York's moves. New York's moves were subtle. They, maybe they didn't add the top 6 guy they wanted, but they get Kopp, who's a very competent forward and does just everything. And if that's the depth piece, that's fine. Justin Braun's not a bad add either. If he's a third pairing defensive defenseman, I like that too. So yeah, they addressed some small issues. They didn't go out and get anyone huge, which you could say was smart because maybe that's success coming just around the corner for them.
Right. Yeah, I like the Rangers a lot too. As you know, I'm a Kopp fan, and Braun again, simple, but I think they got better, and they still have the ability to pull off the blockbuster trade that I want them to pull off for Patrick
this summer. Yeah,
potentially in the summer. So I still think they're in a position to do that, and they improve their defense score, which I think they need because this team's so young. Like they're so young, and their oldest defenseman before Braun was 29. So they, which is Patrick Nemeth, and he was a healthy scratch most nights. So it's interesting. Who do you think? And you know me pretty well. You've known me for a hot minute. What team do you think? What team do you believe that I think had a really good day?
Oof, good day. Oh, jeez.
It's a hockey market, but not one that is top of mind. But it is a hockey market.
Soda?
What's that?
The Wild?
Yeah.
I had to. When you said hockey market, and I mean we'll get to them and where they're at right now in the season, but they arguably made off the biggest move. They addressed an area that we talked about last week that lacked in goaltending, and they got tougher with 2 really heavy hitters. So I'm sure if you want to get to that now, we could talk. Go into further depth. But
Gloria is just a goal scoring machine. Gary's won last night, and he's fun because he's a ball energy. But
you see him pulling Carlson out of the net.
Yeah.
one pin pigeon tosses him. Like that's funny, but like obviously it's kind of disrespectful. But
Yeah,
it's just stuff he does, right? Because he's such a unit.
I would want to play them. I think
No.
if you do beat them, your defense are going to be beat to hell because that team every time they dump the puck in, they have about 5 or 6 guys that are just. I couldn't imagine you put him, Foligno, and Greenway on the same line. That's like my dream. If you could put all 3 of those guys on the same line,
Yeah.
those are 3 battering rams coming after you.
Yeah, no, I agree. What are your thoughts on Flurry trade? Did you think it was a good return? Do you like the condition?
I think it was probably what Chicago was going to get because Flurry controlled everything, right? Like he was going to Minnesota, he was going nowhere because I think he trusted Bill Guerin. It was close to Chicago, so it's close to home when it comes to where his family is right now. He wasn't going to Edmonton. He wasn't going to Toronto. So knowing that, Chicago's kind of pigeonholed because you're like, hey, you're our only suitor. So to get potentially a second round pick's pretty good return for a guy they literally got for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, they're just flipping a guy that they landed on their lap, essentially.
Yeah.
And, he's got that relationship. He played with Billy Guerin in that 09 Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly they know each other. And, he seems like he's going to be happy there. You see him last night. He's pumped to be on the ice, even if he's not playing. And, they get the win. And you just smell that things are heating up, even though, we talked about this before. They didn't get a top 6 forward, which would have been nice. But they still addressed depth. They got, deeper with strength, and they also, get a goaltender. My only thing is now you got Talbot and Flurry are your 2 goaltenders. Those are 2 older guys, Jug. Is that a little bit concerning for the future?
I think, yeah, I think going long term for sure because Flurry, he might retire after this year for all we know. It's his last year of his deal, so he could leave. So it could just be Talbot, and then you're looking. They do have a youngster, a Swedish goalie by the name of Jesper Wallstedt. He's 21 in their system. He's a first round pick, so I think they're hoping he could be the goalie of the future. So I think short term, yes, and they're also going to be in cap hell because of the buyouts for Parise and Suter. They're going to have $12.5 million dead cap next year, followed by 14.5 the following 2 seasons of just dead cap on their books. So I think they know they got a short window here to go for it. They got Kaprizov, who's playing as good as anybody in the NHL right now, and honestly, I think down the stretch, it's nice to have for this year. It's nice to have Talbot and Flurry because you don't want Flurry playing every game. Talbot gets a shutout last night. I think he wanted to prove a point too that he's not just some schlum.
Yeah. This system works well. You don't have to go half and half, but you give your main guy a lot of rest leading up to it, and then he comes right in and hopefully dominates in the playoffs. And you made a great point. Playing this team in the playoffs would just be a complete nightmare. Every guy on that team, besides maybe Zuccarello and Kaprizov, feels like they're like 6'5", 250, just big bodies in there, and it's going to be a grimy game every time they get on.
What'd you make of the Leafs deadline?
Quiet, obviously. I don't think they made one move. But hey, that Dubas had faith. He said he was not going to make. He loved his goalies. He kept saying that over and over. That's all I heard every time I saw presser. I love my goalies. I'm not changing them. And at least he stuck to his word, and he didn't go out and dish Mrazek or cut Campbell or something crazy. I love the moves. I love Gio. I love Colin Blackwell. I think they're both great ads, and getting rid of Travis Dermott, like I told you, might have been the best decision they've ever made. I'm not going to say his name, friends from Ontario say that they would have wished they got more for Travis Dermott, and I thought that was very generous to get a 3rd rounder.
I know who the friend is.
Yeah, might be a little
He
biased.
wanted more for Travis Dermott?
He thought it was a cheap sell, yeah.
If somebody would have said Thursday, yeah, let's process it now. Like, let's go. Like, yes. I want more. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, greedy.
8 too, like Jesus.
What are your thoughts though? I know you probably did you mention it yesterday, or you speak on it, or are you
Yeah, we
liking
talked a
them?
little bit about it. Not as much as TSN, but we talked a little bit. I think they had an okay deadline. I think a lot of teams around them got better, which hurts.
Oh, for sure.
Gio's a good ad. I don't think he's not as good as he once was, Toby Keith, but he's still pretty good. But I like Blackwell. We talked about that. I like Blackwell a lot. He's got some bite, which I like because this team lacks that. But I like that bottom six. Going to bring some character to it, I think. And I prefer to play him over an Engvall or a Simmons because Simmons just the last back half he just looks long in the tooth. Like he doesn't look like he's really an NHL player anymore. But my biggest thing is I don't trust their goalies, and Campbell's been bad since the All-Star break, so it's not like he was just like, oh, he's gonna Campbell's coming back, he's our savior. Well, he was out to lunch before that, so there's no guarantee he's gonna get fixed. Mrazek's, Shalgren, I think they hoped he was going to be, Andrew Hammond 2.0. But I don't. He didn't play great Saturday night. He let in a few muffins. But the worst thing is I think they got better, but I think the teams around them got better than Toronto did.
Yeah. And that includes Boston too, who's right on their heels. I think Boston made some okay moves, getting Josh Brown and obviously Hampus Lindholm, their biggest one.
That was a big ticket.
You mean to buy or to sign him to that much?
Just to re-sign him. I found that.
You know what you're getting with Hampus Lindholm. You're not going to get a 40-point, guy who's going to dominate offensively. He's more, meat and potatoes and maybe make a nice pass here and there. But I don't know. 6.5 seemed like a heavy ticket for that franchise. Maybe it's just because they're notorious for being super cheap.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for them. Their back end's got a few okay players now, including McAvoy, who's having a great year. Gio, I don't know. I just like the experience. I feel like they just needed that guy. And if I say so, I think him playing on, I don't know, Riley or someone who's like going to be up in the rush. Like I don't expect Giordano to be wheeling around out there making unbelievable passes and making a bunch of offense happen. No, like I'd rather him in front of the net helping out his goaltender way more.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one thing he's going to do better. I think you see a lot of like Liljegren, even Hall, Sandin. They're not in great position in front. They don't box out well. Gio's not going to get caught doing that. He'll have a stick on the ice. He'll block passes. So I think he's definitely smarter than the players that are in the bottom of their lineup, which is good. I guess the intrigue is who plays with who. Because I think, you're like, well, Giordano's going to play with Brody. They played it well. If I'm Morgan Riley, I'm like, whoa. I'm top dog here. I don't care if he's the new guy, old man. They played together before. I want to play with Brody. Like I don't think it's this foregone conclusion that it's just, he played with him in Calgary. He gets to play with him here.
Yeah, and lately they've been trying to run the Lyubushkin line with Riley, and that hasn't really seen success often either. So I don't know. I think maybe you just got to try things out, and this is they've got 20 games left to finish the year. They've got to figure it out and get it set because you don't want to be scrambling 2-3 games before the playoffs or even into them.
Yeah, and it's important. I think they got Florida 3 times for the end of the year. They got Tampa 3 times. But like you got Montreal 2-3 times. You got my Devils tomorrow night. So like you got to take advantage of those weaker opponents. And tomorrow's a good night to experiment because Jersey stinks. So whether it's Jerry Shalgren or Mrazek, like go see what you can do.
Yeah, after seeing the little tidbit, it's clear that Chief Keefe doesn't have any faith in Mrazek whatsoever. And how can he? Like, he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
Do you play the guy who butchered it Saturday night, or do you give Mrazek another shot?
I go to Mrazek tomorrow night.
Yeah, give him the title back.
I I just think he has a better chance of catching fire than Shalgren does. Because Shalgren's not, there's a reason Shalgren was in the American Hockey League. He wouldn't even gotten this opportunity if Joseph Wall wasn't injured. Like Joseph Wall would have got recalled, right? So I don't, clearly he doesn't trust Mrazek, but I would give him the start tomorrow night. Campbell's not back for a couple weeks. You can always go back to Shalgren. He'll be there. I think their next game's Saturday. So you can go back to him Saturday night. And I think they got a back-to-back. I think they got Florida later in the week as well. So
yeah, scary weekend.
They're both going to be starting this week because you're not starting Shalgren on a back-to-back nights. I'll tell you that. Some rookie goalie, like that's not happening.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm excited for it. Hopefully they get their feet wet with New Jersey, and then this weekend will be interesting to see how they handle too.
Who they got Saturday?
I think it's Tampa, Florida. For being honest, I might be wrong. I could check, but yeah, as of right now, it's not looking sexy.
To the world, there, Rick Ross, Kevin Rudolph. I forget who wrote that song. But yeah, that's what it is. Jesus. But yeah, no, that's I didn't expect to see that back to back this weekend, but it's Montreal. It's Montreal.
Oh, not as bad.
Montreal, Florida.
Yeah, well, I think didn't Montreal beat them last time? Yeah, so teams that they normally should win against usually end up being the ones they lose against, like the Devils, like Columbus, like Arizona, like Buffalo. So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, they'll be an interesting team to watch down the stretch. Any team that you felt didn't do enough?
Didn't do enough. I would say if Pittsburgh didn't make that last move, I mean, they definitely would have been just ghostly. I mean, I don't know. Like, would I be wrong saying Washington looked like ghosts? Like they picked up a couple.
I feel like
guys,
they think like we can't win.
Yeah, well, that's the message they send. Like if you're looking at the teams even in your division, like how are you going to beat those teams? You can hardly win now, and you've got Columbus slowly creeping up to your door. Like I wouldn't go out and trade a first rounder for nothing, knowing it. Like, but I mean, yeah, that's the problem with some of these teams. Like they've got aging players, and the window just seems to get shorter and shorter. So maybe they think they just need to sneak in and then win, because I think that's kind of what they did the year they did win in 2018. So,
yeah, I mean, it's all about goaltending, but they're another team where I look at their goaltending and I don't trust them. Like Vanacek, Samsonov, I don't think either guy has played well all year. So,
what about you? What team do you think could have done more?
I was happy with most of everyone because they were active, right? Like Nashville didn't do anything big, but they made a few moves. Dallas, I hope he got hurt. So getting Wedgwood was smart. You get a goalie to play some minutes. That's NHL caliber. Forsberg, I mean, they keep him. He gets 5 points last night. So there's a good little own rental night last night for him. And Nashville, they're a good team. Like they're
really good. Hot right now.
I think it's gonna be a battle down the stretch. Then St. Louis, Minnesota, kind of where they seed. That'll be interesting. Down the stretch, I like the Leddy acquisition by St. Louis. I think he's got lots of experience. They needed that in the back end with guys like Falk and guys that just don't have a whole lot of a playoff experience back there. Maybe St. Louis, I could say they should have tried to get another forward. That's one gripe I maybe would have said for them. Go out there and get another.
Yeah, they lose Oscar Sundqvist, right? So like you're essentially getting less deep on your in your bottom six. But I agree with that. What about Edmonton? They get Bessard and Kulak, but is that that seems to be it?
Yeah, Kulak, as you know, I'm not a big fan. In fact, the second rounder was I don't know. I
just a head scratcher.
I can't comprehend it, but so I don't think that's really a net positive. I think Laguson's just as good as Brett Kulak, so that's you're there. I think Montreal had a good day, but like Edmonton, Brassard is better come playoff time, so I'll give them that. I think he's better than Turris. I think he's better than Devin Shore. So take that for what it's worth. But the one thing I'll give Dubas a break. I'll give Edmonton a break. There is no goalie that's going to change your life that was available. It was Flurry, and that was really it. Like Kakinen, I like that San Jose picked him up because maybe he can catch fire. They can develop him. Maybe there's something there. But like Georgiev, New York was never going to trade him. Why would they? They might need him come playoff time in case Shesterkin goes down. The other goalies mentioned, James Reimer. You know better than anybody. He's not going to win you a playoff series. So Koskinen been playing well over the last month. Edmonton's playing better, much better as a team. They get a point last night in Colorado. So maybe they catch fire. I think they can beat LA in the first round. That's how you have to look at it. You say, beat LA, take our chances with Calgary in the second round. Maybe that's the way they view it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there's no, like you said, there was no goaltender out there that's going to change your franchise. And I forgot to mention this. One thing I like about the Leafs and what Dubas did, they didn't throw away any, they gave up 2 second rounders for Gio, but it's not like they gave up a first. And, I feel like picks now are, not that they're diluted, but they're not worth as much as, everyone thinks they are. And it's nice to have them, obviously, and it gives you more chance to develop your farm, but that doesn't mean that it goes anywhere.
And maybe they keep that first and they go after a guy like John Gibson in the summer.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, it'd be nice. I have to make some magic with the cap, but Dubas seems to be very well known as a capologist, so who knows?
Yeah, well, maybe move out.
Oh,
if you lose.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Move out Bill Nylander if they lose in the first round.
Oh yeah, they'll have to do something. I'd like to see JT maybe find another location, but I don't think no one's going to take that on. Yeah, no one's going to take that on.
Arizona's not even taking that contract. Watch any March Madness this past weekend?
I did. Yes. Yeah, I was pretty focused on it. There were some really great games. Obviously, me and you made that bracket the night before, and I was like, okay, how are we gonna do? You probably don't remember, but do you? Oh, maybe you do. Do you remember? How are you doing now? Like, how many teams are in your Sweet 16?
I don't even remember. I know we picked Gonzaga for sure. I had Texas Tech. I had Duke, UCLA. I think I had Purdue.
Yeah, you did.
Definitely not Miami, not Iowa State. I had Kansas. Did I have Providence? No, I had Iowa.
You had Iowa. Yeah, the old first round upset.
That hurt my heart. I had Villanova.
Yeah.
I had Tennessee. Those bastards lost to Michigan. And I had Arizona and I had Illinois, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 8 for 16. That's 50%'s not bad shooting.
It's not as bad as I thought. That's actually
like it doesn't look great on paper, but when you think about it, it's like, okay, well, I got half these right, and there's 64 of these goddamn people.
How many people at St. Peter's?
yeah, not many. I don't think any anymore. I don't know if there's one single bracket that's still in play.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, so we're not even to the Sweet 16. No, but other than that, it's been great. Two teams I haven't got to watch yet that I want to watch are Duke and Gonzaga. Surprisingly, I haven't seen any 4 of those games yet, but I love the Texas team. I was super upset they got beat out by Purdue. I watched some of that University of Miami game on Sunday night because it was entertaining, and he's a good little player. I like him a lot. Yeah. I was hoping Baylor would break through for us for our bracket, but North Carolina beat them out. And there was just a ton of other upsets. Obviously, St. Peter's I hope they're here to stay. I hope they beat Purdue now. I don't have no ties to Purdue, so I hope they keep going.
I think crazy we could get to the Final Four because no 15 has ever gotten past Sweet 16.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all about history, baby, and got to rewrite it at some time. So, St. Peter's, I think they're a school of 3,000 maybe, which is
it's 2,500. just outside New Jersey.
That's it. That's wild that they're even in this tournament. Yeah, but yeah, and I think they have a budget of maybe like $1.5 million compared to like, I don't know, like Kentucky, who might have like a $60 million budget.
Right.
So yeah, and anything can happen. It's one game in elimination, and yeah, I'm here for it. Hope Gonzaga goes further because obviously for the bracket, but no, there's some other teams I like watching too. So it's good. I just kind of scramble back and forth. I don't hardly ever watch a full game because I just want to see them all. Too excited.
Right. Yeah, no, it's been awesome. This past weekend, I watched a lot.
Yeah, I was considering coming to see you, and then I was like, do we even interrupt? I mean, I was Kennedy. I was like, Kennedy, do we even interrupt this guy? Like, I think he's just going to be on playing like Cloud9 watching this.
Yeah, it was. If I really calculated the hours, it would be pretty scary. Like Saturday, this from Friday night when I was finishing the podcast until I probably watched 36 hours of college basketball this weekend.
Yeah. Knowing you probably got your steps in too, which is the scary part. But yeah, what one game out of the first 2 rounds that you're thinking you just love, like close game, could be 10-point difference? What game were you like, this was awesome basketball?
Duke, Michigan State was awesome.
Yeah.
No defense. So it was, but that was great. I thought Michigan State was going to win. That was Coach K's last game, so I was like, "Holy shit! I really invested in this." But they pulled it out, and it was cool because he got emotional after the game. He was hugging all the players. Like, it's a different side of Coach K, which I thought was interesting. I think St. Mary's UCLA was actually a really good game as well. I thought St. Mary's, they got really good shooting, but UCLA, both games, they look like they're going to lose both, but they just grind and they find a way to win. That was a good game. Oh, and Baylor, North Carolina was North Carolina's up 25. Like, they're going to beat them by 40. Brady Manick gets ejected in this bogus call, and Baylor comes back. I thought Baylor was going to win. Goes to overtime. North Carolina pulls it out. Crazy game. But yeah, I mean, there's some good players. I think it's going to be a good year for the draft. Honestly, the more I watch, there's some good cats. Like, this past year's draft was really good with Mobley. Cade's turned into a really good player. Scotty Barnes is a stud. Giddy, I like a lot. Like, I think you'll see some good guys again because you got old Chetty Cakes and you got Pancaro is a good player. So yeah, I think we're going to see another good young crop of NBA players.
Now, a guy like me, Dougie, I don't watch college ball. Let's make this well known. Obviously, it comes to the madness. I can't help myself.
Right.
Marcus Carr, is he a guy that could get drafted, or is he G League for a few years, then makes his way up? I just don't know the scale of when he looks like a great player, but I don't know.
I think as of right now, they got him like as a fringe draft pick. Okay. I think he could be like an unsigned free agent, but those guys almost end up having better luck because they get to pick their own team more often than not, right? Like Fred VanVleet went to the Raptors, it worked out. He didn't get drafted. So I think he's kind of fringe right now, but I agree. He's a good player. He's got good handles. I thought the one thing I'll say about the tournament, and LeBron James must love this tournament because it gives him like better feeling, is how bad the free throw shooting is. It makes LeBron look like a goddamn king.
Yeah. Yeah, his shooting miss. That's probably one bad thing about his year.
But other than Villanova, who shoot, I think 88% as a team, the free throw shooting is god awful.
Yeah, it makes the Bonnelau Bengals look good. Yeah, no, it's been fun. I listened to you and Ryder yesterday making supper. You guys had a lot to say on it, and yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. Enjoying the recap from you guys too. Ryder seems to be right into it. I'm with him. If there's one university I'm going to other than UMB, it's probably Miami.
Oh, the U. It's got to be the U. It's hard not to pick the U. So I was telling the audience earlier, and I pitched this to you midweek last week that I was listening to this really interesting podcast on The Ringer called Icons Club, and it's about, Jack McMullen. It gets a lot of awesome interviews. She interviewed Wilt and Dr. J. She got Jordan to do the podcast. So that's coming out. She got Larry Bird. So I encourage everybody to listen to it. It's an awesome podcast. But it got me thinking of who are some of the best teammates of all time in all sports. And I want, it's hard to define, but I kind of said, guys that kind of sacrifice or have great careers, and it might not necessarily be about them. Well, I thought it'd be fun today to kind of go through our list. Maybe we'll have different criteria, but we can talk about it and kind of go through it. So did you come up with some players that you liked?
Yeah, I got 5. Evander Kane and Aaron Rodgers are not going to be on this list, just for anybody listening.
Damn
but I got 5. And I can rank them in my head quickly. I just kind of threw 5 in there. What do you want to do here? 1 and 1? You want me to name all 5 of mine?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and then I'll go after you.
Okay. So I will say just number 5 per se. I have the coach of the Brooklyn Nets, Steve Nash, is my number 5, and I have him for a couple of reasons. One, he didn't owe the Phoenix Suns anything. He did all he could for that franchise when he got traded there, and he had a great career, 2 MVPs. Everybody knows the story. One of the best playmakers of his generation. He could have left probably, I would say, shortly after he probably realized that they were not going to go anywhere in the playoffs. And instead he said, I'm going to stick it out, and, I'm going to battle through. And he stayed there. And, in my opinion, he had to be a good teammate. Things I read online, he just seemed like a phenomenal guy, seemed like well-respected. Obviously he's a head coach now, so he's got to have some leadership role in the locker room. And he gave
Amari Stoudemire a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, like way too much money.
Yeah.
Like, for people who don't know, that was kind of the 1-2 punch back in the day, was Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. And Amari Stoudemire was nothing more than a dunk highlight, and Steve Nash kind of helped them out a lot. And that's for a lot of great players. Jason Richardson, I think, kind of gets bloated up too. I'm not a big fan of his career, but he was there for a while. So I think old Steve-O was definitely one of the best teammates, and a great career too. Underneath that, just no, unfortunately, team accolades to go around that.
Right. No, I like that. Okay, I went 5, and I put this guy's probably too low, but I didn't want to put him that high because he gets talked about enough. I have Tom Brady 5th.
Okay.
And I had to put Tom on because every teammate seems to like him. He's had one great receiver over his career. If you really one great other than Gronk, and that would be Randy Moss. And oddly enough, that's a year he didn't win the Super Bowl. But Edelman, Wes Welker, James White, and teams with less talent, he just finds ways to win. They buy into that culture. Belichick's not the easiest guy to get along with, but I think they kind of choose Brady over Bill in a lot of different ways. And yeah, I just I think Tom's a great teammate, great player. I had him at number 5.
Add to that, taking less money. Let's be honest. What's the one thing everyone wants in this world, maybe besides glory, is the ASS edge. Yeah. All his contracts were probably half of what he was worth. Would you agree with that?
100%. He could have been making $40 million the last number of years, and he took less so the team could get better talent.
Yeah. And I mean, then they won back, year over year. And, that's not happening unless he takes that personal sacrifice. So I 100% agree. Number 4, this guy, one of the best captains of all time, could be one of the best captains in the NHL. Just spoiler alert, I have no football players. I don't watch enough football, and I don't know enough about the history of football.
I only got one.
Okay. So yeah, that's good. This guy, I would say, one of the best captains, Steve Yzerman. is got to be one of the most fearless leaders, drafted by Detroit, stayed with that team through everything. And one thing that always stuck out with me is that he gave up. He said like he could have been a great individual player, been 110 point player every year, but he decided to sacrifice that and be an 85 point player and become a more well-rounded defensive forward. And I think that nothing speaks more to just being the ultimate teammate than making those personal sacrifices like Brady, like we just mentioned with the dough. And yeah, he just seemed like that. And he's not a guy who seems like he'd snap at a teammate or get mad, but he just demands the room by his presence. And when he starts speaking, I feel like everybody just kind of pipes down. Same with now as a manager, like I feel like he walks those halls and I feel like he still gets that respect. And I think just that would make the ultimate teammate.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just got such an aura about him that you'd be afraid to do something wrong because he'd be like, okay, not that he'd snap at you, but it's more like we don't want to let Steve down. Like you said, it took him a long time to get his cups. It took him close to a decade. He was tired, and I think he had to change his ways a little bit. And ultimately, he found success by not being all about him, if you will, and it's more about the team. So sometimes you had to learn, but I do think, yeah, he was a great teammate. Number 4 for me, I have Steph Curry. And the reason I have Steph Curry, and it really is tied to Kevin Durant, because it's one thing to say, okay, well, Golden State's going to win the title. They got all these guys. But Steph really had to give up his shots. He had to give up limelight. He had to give up his ego a little bit to say, you know what, I'm going to bring in a guy who's better than me, who's going to get I usually take all these threes. He's going to get them. He'll get the finals MVPs, even though I probably could have won them without him. And I'm just going to be I'll be a good player, but he's the best player. And it's not everybody can do that. Ask James Harden. He has a hard time doing that. Where you just buy into the system, you play smart, and it's rare that the Golden State Warriors have been a bad team since Steph Curry has entered the league. They always play hard. You got to give them that. And just I think he builds that. It's Steph's team, even when Kevin was there. And I just think there's a respect level there that there's not many people that don't like Steph Curry in the game of basketball, including his teammates.
Yeah, I agree fully. And just look at this season. I mean, they stunk it up, and he just pulled the team on his back and said, okay, boys, like let's go. I'll get us into a playoff run and we'll see what happens. We'll probably touch on that later, but that is a true sign of leadership by, taking over. Third, I got a funny one, and you might not agree with this, or, whoever's listening might not. I got Miguel Cabrera as my number 3. And he just seems like a really good guy to be around. He's always joking. He's up with the high fives. Over the course of his career, you'd think he'd tone it down, but I think he's gotten more goofy and more just like outrageous as his career prolongs. So yeah, I mean, he's 38 now. He probably acts like he's 20. And I just think like that kind of atmosphere over such a long season, like 162 games, being there day in, day out, practices. I just feel like it would be so important to have a guy like that in your locker room to keep things light. Say you're on a bad team like Detroit. Well, at least you're going to get in there and you're going to see Miggy every day.
Yeah, no, obviously he's big when they're in Miami. Obviously, he helped them down there. Detroit, he Triple Crown winner, a great Hall of Famer. You know if that's coming, but yeah, I think I agree. His teammates seem to like him. He switched over from third to play first, and that takes some ego hit to do that. And I think he did it pretty seamlessly, and he did it without complaining. Yeah. So, I like that one. Never thought of Miguel Cabrera, but again, a great player and future Hall of Famer. My number 3 is another Hall of Famer. And my number 3 is Ron Francis. And the reason I have Ronnie is Ron Francis is a great hockey player. Was great in Hartford. truly one of the best two-way centers in the history of the game of hockey. But he didn't win in Hartford. He battled. They had good teams, but they never got over the hump. He had to check his ego. He had to be a good teammate and go be a third-line guy in Pittsburgh with Mario and with Yager. And they won 2 Stanley Cups. But again, it's not everybody can do that. He didn't get the great power play looks. He had to play the crappier minutes. He had to play against tougher opponents, tougher lines. And Ron Francis took that on the chin. He did it. They won because of it. And I just think he's a great teammate because he could have came into Pittsburgh with the mentality of, I'm the best player here. I don't care about you, Mario. Okay, yeah, you're great. I'm pretty damn good myself. But he kind of had the Steph Curry approach where he goes, I'm going to fit in here. Let's win some titles. I'm tired of getting close but not winning, and I'll be a third-line center on a championship team, even though I could be the first-line center.
Yeah. Remind me, Ron Francis he's in management for
Seattle. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these guys, similar with, Steve Nash coaching, if you're a great teammate or you're a great leader, it often results in you getting opportunities to be in management, coach teams and be, a developer of young guys, because that's often who you want to surround them with, people who they can learn from and, become great leaders themselves.
Yeah,
so that's a good point.
You saying that, just a couple that come to mind. Brendan Moore. I think of like a guy like Mark Recchi, who was on the bench for so long in Pittsburgh. He won 3 cups as a player, but he was always so loved around the game, and I think players just liked having him around, and that's half the battle. So, no, completely agree. But yeah, Francis was in Carolina for a while, and now he's the president and GM of the Seattle Kraken. Who do you have at number 2?
Number 2, I have one of the greatest captains of all time. Unfortunately, he never saw Lord Stanley. Is Jerome Mcginla. He is the definition of what it takes to basically stay with the team as long as you can. Got one try at it in 2004, never made it, and continued to stay with them for a while. Over 500 tucks in his career, Hall of Famer, and truly, like, if anything were to happen to one of his teammates, Jerome was the guy both on and off the ice to help out and take care of it. I haven't heard. I'm sure even his enemies have good things to say about him because he's just that great of a guy. And you just want to run through a wall for him. And even in his later career when he was with Boston, moving around with Boston, Colorado, LA, just his experience he probably brought to some of those teams while he was there was probably just worth with the millions who were giving him. So, no, I just have a lot of respect for him for captaining Calgary all those years and leading their team every year in points. That he wore the C was a massive accomplishment.
No, I love that one because, like you said, he'd score goals. If you hit his teammate dirty, he'd go fight you. Like, it wouldn't be the fourth line grinder. Jerome would go and say, "Let's go." Like, I'll win the fight. But yeah, power forward, great teammate. Kind of took the NHL by storm because he was traded on that Joe Nieuwendyk deal. Goes to Calgary and becomes a captain and really was a great force forever. I think he's Lanny McDonald likely would be put on a higher pedestal because he won a title, but Jerome did everything. I mean, 2007 they were 2004 they were so close, and Game 7 and they narrowly lose to Tampa Bay, but great career. My number 2, I also have a hockey player, NHL, but I also have a captain, and it's Mark Messier.
Oh, good one. Yes, this is a good one.
Mess. He played for a long time with the Great One, and Mark Messier was Mark frigging Messier. I mean, he was so humble about it, yet competitive. He took lesser roles with Edmonton because Gretzky was on the team, and you'd think, well, I want to be the man. I want to get all these. He didn't. He got good points, but he never won a major award. But he knew he was a great player. He kept winning. He won titles when Wayne Gretzky left. And I think the New York title, I read his book this past year, really good for anybody listening. But he talked about the first title with Edmonton because they got swept the year before in the first round. It was a bitter pill to swallow to Calgary. In New York, he said that was such a fight to get there. And he had the promise game where he said, we're going to win this series, we're winning the cup. And I just think there's not too many teammates that don't like him. He dealt with Mike Keenan. He kept that on the rails. He's missed, he's one of the he's one of the icons of the game. And I think truly one of the best teammates and leaders as well.
No, great pick. Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed that he didn't come to mind when you think about it. But yeah, I mean, you captain two franchises such as Edmonton and New York. You must be doing something right, and played for a long time. Sacrificed a lot of points playing with old Wayno. So yeah, no, great pick. My last one, I've thought about this a lot. He went up and down my list, but ultimately,
is it an NBA player?
It's an NBA player, yeah.
Yeah, so's mine.
Okay. Do you want to go at the same time? I'll go. I'll just be. It'll be interesting to see what you say, but I have one Tim Duncan as my. You do too? Yeah. I mean, that's funny. There's not much that Tim Duncan doesn't do well. He's not the most athletic guy. He's not going to impress you with speed or a highlight dunk. But one thing he does is he's just efficient, and he's well respected by every single person in the NBA community because he's been up against the best players. He's beaten them.
He's beaten them all.
He's beaten everybody. And the longevity of his career and how good those teams were, those Spurs teams, even to the late, the 2014 to 2012s, just shows that he was, he just commanded a room. And you talk about all his teammates; they all respected him. He wasn't going to yell at you, but he would scowl you if you were acting out or doing something dumb. And I think there's just not much more you can say. Like if you know Tim Duncan, this was an easy pick for this list because he just represented what it meant to be a great teammate and a great leader.
He could have averaged so many more points. He could have been such a better stats player, but he didn't care about that. He really didn't have an ego. Or if he did, he didn't let it show. Because you could argue Manu Ginobili has a higher profile than Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, but yeah.
But like, people just think Tim always that boring guy. Well, Ginobili.
Oh, he's flashy. Like one thing Manu was way more flashy, whether it was passing or scoring.
I'm not saying he's a better player, but
no, but yeah. I see what you mean.
Manu coming off the bench, he's like Duncan's just boring. Give it to him in the post, bank shot. Pass it, give it to Parker, screen and roll. It's efficient, but it's boring. Nobody likes to watch that. I mean, it's really good basketball, but it's not. The Spurs weren't sexy, but they were winning. And I think Tim Duncan had the most to do with that. How much he sacrificed. I think a lot of this list is just about sacrifice. And I think he sacrificed a lot for the teams to be good because let me see if you agree with. I think Tony Parker was a really good player, but I think Tim Duncan made him look a lot better than he was.
I'd have to agree with that. Yeah, like there was a couple of years where people were like, oh, Tony Parker, like he's up there with the top 5, top 3 guards, but he was getting a lot of residual assists from a really good guy and down to the post. So the playmaking they did when they were hot just was unbelievable, and it flowed through the entire team. Bench guys were good, and they could all pass, they could all dish, and they just played as one. And I think that's and he was the leader of that. So how do you not be impressed with something that well?
Yeah, no. Great career for Timmy D. But yeah, I'm happy we had the same guy. That's funny. That number one. He was the easy one for me. I wrote down him first, and I had to fill out the rest. But because he sacrificed so much, and I just think he was he built that culture in San Antonio, and it lived on, like you said, for basically 2 decades.
Absolutely.
No, well, I don't want to keep it too long tonight, but What
I
do you
did have
got?
a couple things I wanted to mention if I could rally off
Yeah,
or
go
hot
right ahead.
takes.
Yeah, go right ahead.
One thing, Marty St. Louis comments about no games on trade deadline. Too stressful for the players. How do you feel about that?
Too stressful. That sounds soft. But I don't think there should be any games just because with all the travel and that. I don't think there needs to be games that day, but I don't think it's because of the mental health for the players, but whatever.
So you would be you'd take it out?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr's comments that Marcus Smart's we'll call it fall or attempt for the ball on Steph Curry ruining their season. Is that was that intentional or Steve Kerr kind of being a baby because the season's over?
I don't think it was dirty per se. I think it was unnecessary from Marcus Smart, but that's kind of Marcus Smart for you. But I don't think it was dirty. But he plays that way. So I think Steve Kerr's a little PO'd. He has a good right to be. I mean, his best player just got hurt. But it sounds like Curry's going to be back maybe even before the playoffs start. So the Warriors might still be in decent shape.
Yeah, I mean, even if they fall, there's like 10, 11 games left in the season. Even if they fall to 5, I wouldn't be too worried. They'd get matched up with someone they could beat, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting, though. Last but not least, this is totally off sports. This guy, I see him in so many trailers, and he comes out with 1 or 2 movies a year. I just had to bring him up because he just drives me nuts now.
Okay, I'm interested now.
Liam Neeson. Does this guy need to retire, Dougie? Like, I feel like he's just at this point getting paychecks. Like, his movies are so bad.
Yeah, they're all the same.
They're all the same. They're the same thing every time.
Go in a snowstorm and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, like, I'm the guy who gets the mysterious call and kills people because my family or someone F's with my friends. Like, that's the premise of every one of his movies. Like, what? Do you think people are not catching on to this?
Yeah, he had a good run. But it's over. He's almost 70 too. Like, he's not like a spring chicken.
Yeah, he needs to stay with pissing his pants every once in a while outside the bars, and that's all his gig should be.
I thought you were gonna say Nick Cage at first.
Oh no, actually, Nick Cage has had a resurgence of his career actually in the last couple of years. Some sneaky indie flicks that he's in. And there's even acting like in his own movie where he's just Nick Cage, which could go either way. It could be really bad or it could be really funny. We'll see.
Is Nick Cage a good actor?
What's good? Like, can you give me an example? What?
You know, the show Community, there's an episode based on this. Is Nick Cage a good actor?
Oh, I haven't got there. Oh, I need to
Abed
watch
breaks
that
it
one.
down. It's really, really good.
Yeah. I would say he's probably a fringe actor that's been in some really good movies, but to call him a good actor would be pretty tough.
Yeah, I like him for some reason. He's fucked, but
he is.
Recently, the last couple months, I watched his movie called Pig.
Oh yeah, how was it?
I don't know. It's kind of like Nick Cage. You don't know, like he takes this pig out into the wilderness and it gets stolen, and then he just starts losing it. He goes, "Where's my pig?" And he's just yeah. I don't know. I remember, like, I shut it off and I'm like, what was that? Like, was that good or not? Like, I really didn't know. Like, it's still good right now, and I'm like, filled the time, I guess. I don't know.
It's intriguing. You got me intrigued. You got a pig.
You'll have to watch it because it's quite a film.
No, but other than that, just being a busy beaver and taking in as much sports as I can. Hopefully, Leafs grabbing another couple wins before we speak again. Mm-hmm. And other than that, what about you? What's on the go for the rest of the week?
So Thursday I'm gonna go watch Tally. So
okay.
Thursday afternoon on the island. So watch her race home. Watch March Madness. So yeah, get on the freeway, Booker. So yeah, do that. Yeah, watch some sports and maybe rewatch Pig.
Sounds like a movie you might need to rewatch because it's sounds like a confusing flick. So
It
I'm
is.
excited
You're
to
just
watch
like,
it.
what was that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. And what about any hot takes for you before we sign off here?
any hot takes? Any hot takes? Nothing big. LeBron is. I have a hot take about LeBron. I have a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. I just think it's real. The Lakers shouldn't be talked about as much as they are. My God.
Yeah,
just
the
shut up
Leafs of
with
the
Lakers.
NBA.
They stink. They
Yeah,
suck. The Lakers. Like, I don't know.
it's crazy. Like his statistics are some of the best of his career. Yet his lack of effort sometimes when he's playing is like alarming. Like
Yeah.
how are you be that good, but also just be like totally not in the game? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I know exactly what you mean.
like
Defensively, you might as well be Casper.
yeah, like there's plays where he just like if he doesn't get the call he wants, he's literally he's wearing a diaper in a crib.
Yeah.
Like that's just the way to describe his game right now.
But yeah, they're in the 9th seed. They moved up, so that's sure to get a headline or two. No, Shay, good to talk to you tonight. I'll let you get back to things, but have a good night. We'll talk to you a week from now.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
All right, see you, Shay. Thanks for joining us as always every Tuesday to Shamus. Great. The teammate conversation was a lot of fun. It was fun putting together that list, just thinking about that. We'll try to do more of those moving forward when it comes to, if you have any lists, any kind of different conversations you want us to get into, feel free to let me know, and we will as we move forward. So show tomorrow, Thursday, I'll be off from the podcast. Going to watch, like I just mentioned to Shamus, going to watch my sister play in the Nationals and PEI. We'll be back Friday though. Walker Campbell will stopping by the podcast. So we'll do that Friday. So tomorrow, just me on the show, but we'll have lots to get into. Breakdown. There's a lot of NHL games tonight. Interesting NBA stories and any other news. Baseball. I can start getting into some baseball news as well. So that's it for today. Hope you guys have a great night. This has been To The Point.